Character design is the art of Inception, and it has nothing to do with a thing within a thing or spinning hotel hallways. Well, let me explain. First of all, please forgive me if this video comes across as esoteric or pseudoscientific, or if this is a really obvious idea that is a lot more profound to me than it is to you. But this is something that's really important for you to understand when it comes to making memorable characters. And if it's not something that you've mentally unlocked yet, it might be of some encouragement to you when you're creating characters. This idea of Inception has very little to do with dreams and a lot to do with your brain. And this is something that I've long held to be true about character design. When we think about character design, a lot comes to mind, and most of it is visual and tangible in nature. When we think about what a character is, what it really is, or even where it is in its most tangible state, well, a lot of it is visual. It could be part of a comic book or movie. It could be a player-controlled character in a video game. It could even be a figurine that you can hold in your hands. But none of those things are the final resting place for your characters. That might be as far as they go in some circumstances, but a well-made character or a well-executed character ends up being an idea in someone else's brain. Backing up to that idea of Inception, and yes, it calls to mind the film with that same name. It's less about entering dreams and more about planting an idea in someone else's mind.
Inception. Is it possible?
Of course not.
If you can steal an idea from someone's mind, why can't you plant one there instead?
Okay, here's me planting an idea in your head. I say to you, don't think about elephants. What are you thinking about?
Elephants.
Really, characters in these physical and visual forms of media that we were talking about are simply the realization of an idea that initially started in someone else's head. And as character designers, we know that design is all about communication, and communication is the transfer of ideas. Now, of course, character designers are not the only ones doing this. Writers and storytellers, for an example, are forming experiences with their imagination and transferring them to yours. They're building worlds out of words. Our brains do so much more than comprehend the information that we're given. We start to form models of things in our head to get a better understanding of them. With a well-developed character, we start to say, well, that's something that Ron Swanson would do, or that's totally something Judy Hopps would say, because we're understanding these characters to be real people, even though we've never heard or seen them do the things that we're thinking about. Good characters become real people to us, and this is part of why people are drawn to writing fan fiction and drawing fan art. The original idea from the original creator, the transfer to their minds is now complete, and now they're communicating and expressing about these characters in their own way. And this is why it's so important for us to have a realistic personality for our characters, because if they're underdeveloped, they're a cardboard cutout, or just a cliche, we start to reject the idea. We see the man behind the curtain pulling the strings, and we get disappointed with their attempts at Inception. When it comes to the visuals for our characters, it's no less important, because if we have the idea in the first place, that's one thing, but if we can't draw well or well enough to build this model in someone else's head, then we've only done half of the work. This is why I'd admonish you, even if you have a story to tell, you have ideas, keep practicing the technical side of art so that way you can perform this Inception to the best of your ability. When you stop thinking about characters as something that's simply intended for a final product, but instead see it as part of the transfer from your imagination to someone else's, I think you can elevate the quality of your work and the intentionality of it quite a bit. Thank you for bearing with me on this one. That's it from me today. I'm making new videos every week at Character Design Forge. Subscribing on YouTube lets you know when new videos are made available, and my next few videos are going to be pretty exciting, so make sure to stick around for that. I'd also invite you, if you're not already following me on Twitter or Instagram, follow me there at BagelDenizen on both platforms. That's where you can see a lot of my art and progress and things that you might not see in these YouTube videos. Thank you for watching, and have fun creating.